Ranganji, over to you.
यस्य चैतन्यमात्रेण स्फुरन्ति स्वयमेव हि वाचः चतुर्विधाः पुंसां भावयेतं महेश्वरं वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. It's wonderful to see this gathering for the great language Sanskritam. Sanskritam is great for so many reasons. For example, there are so many papers published, well researched, regarding how cognitive powers are increasing through Sanskrit verse chanting and Sanskrita conversation, how our memory can increase, how our attention span can increase by chanting the verses in Sanskrit. And personally, I myself have seen few of the persons, especially in Arogyadama in Esyasa, who could feel difficult to, who suffered from some nervous problem and couldn't talk properly, couldn't spell few words properly due to the nervous problem and stress. For them, when particular verses in Sanskrit are taught, their Akshara Shuddhi increased. Moreover, Sanskritam is also seen as a very courteous language, Sabhyata. Swami Vivekananda talks about it. By talking in Sanskrit, our dignity will grow. This is because Sanskrit has all specific ucharanas. Perhaps in the whole of the world, this language is excellent, the best regarding using all the limbs of our mouth up to larynx. And we have a separate shastra for that, how to use these organs to pronounce, to spell the aksharas of Sanskrit. Shastra's name is Paniniya Shiksha, Shiksha Shastra. So when you get mastery over the letters of Sanskrit, you will be capable to spell many of the letters belonging to many of the languages of the world. This is a very interesting thing. Sanskritam also is very adaptable. This is what they say, some scientists say, for the upcoming artificial intelligence. Sanskrit is taken to be the most adaptable language. And then Sanskritam can make us more brainy. Through Sanskritam, our cerebral cortex can function well. Regarding this, we have several scientific papers. Sanskritam is the mother of many languages, and here in India, Sanskritam is the mother of most of the languages. Also outside India, several languages have the influence of Sanskrit. I think that many Indians may not know this. For example, when you go to Singapore, of course, the word Singapore itself is a Sanskrit word, Singhapura. And there you see an island, Sentosha. When you verify about it, when you ask about it, they themselves will say, the guide will say, this is a Sanskrit word, nothing but Santosha. Just a small example, you may go to Bali of Indonesia, the whole of Indonesia, in fact, Thailand. You can see so many Sanskrit words throughout all these countries, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Japan. They say Zen of Japan is from Dhyana. Dhyana has become Zen. And also, if you go to Iran and also in the Persian languages, and of course Greek, Roman, English, which is the product of Greek and Roman. For example, a very great scholar, an European Indologist, R.T.H. Griffith, who translated Valmiki's Ramayana, perhaps the first translator of Valmiki Ramayana in English. He says that Sanskritam is, if we research in Sanskrit, we can find out that Sanskrit has contributed a lot of words in English. This is what he says. While I am talking about R.T.H. Griffith, I am remembered of another great person, another Indologist. He's an Italian, Gaspar Gorecchio. He says in the preface of Ramayana, who translated Valmiki Ramayana into Italian language long before R.T.H. Griffith into English, he says that he was working with various European languages and European culture, learning them. At that time, he was not satisfied with that. He thought that it is just an echo or imitation of some other original culture. And he ended up with Greek and Roman. And when he was learning Greek and Roman, he intuitively felt that this is also from some other original source. What must be that? Then gradually he ended up with Sanskritam. And he came to Sanskritam in that way, and also in Sanskritam, when he was searching for what is original, he ended up with Valmiki's Ramayana. This is what he says. And this statement of him verily proves why our elders have called Valmiki Ramayana as Adikavya and Maharshi Valmiki as Adikavi. Coming back to the point, the benefits of Sanskritam which I am talking about, aside from this, three things I want to share with you. Number one, a lot of scientific discoveries are there in the Shastra as written in Sanskrit. For example, for medical science we have Ayurveda, which is in Sanskrit. And for atomic science, ancient atomic science, you have Nyaya and Vaiseshika. To understand the laws of nature, you have Nyaya. And then you have that which deals with the fundamental energy of the universe, where you can compare this science with the modern quantum physics. That kind of Shastra is Sankhya. All these Shastras are found in Sanskrit. Shilpa Shastra you have in Sanskrit, which was the ancient engineering, architecture, so on and so forth. These are, to name a few. So many things are there in Sanskrit. Of course, one Shastra doesn't mean one book. In the name of Nyaya, you have several hundreds of books. In the name of Shilpa Shastra, you have several hundreds of books. In the name of Ayurveda, you have several hundreds of books. All these things are found only in Sanskrit. However, efforts you may make to translate that in English, it will not be as effective as you read in original. For this reason also, learning Sanskrit is very important. Second reason, philosophy. The Indian philosophy, as Gaspar Gorecchio rightly said, is original philosophy. Take for example, when you come to the modern psychology got a very great transformation by two or three great stalwarts like C.G. Jung, Erikson and Maslow. If there is no C.G. Jung in psychology, probably the psychology may be just in the darkness, the so-called unconscious mind of Sigmund Freud. C.G. Jung made a very great transformation in modern psychology. And we also should not forget C.G. Jung was highly connected to India, and he was influenced by Sri Ramana Maharshi too. He was influenced heavily by Sankhya and Vedanta, and also by Jyotisha Shastra, very important. Okay. And Maslow's self-actualization, that also was heavily influenced by Indian philosophy. Only these things made a very great change in modern psychology in the Western world. Okay. Psychology in West minus C.G. Jung or minus Maslow is equal to that dark unconscious of Sigmund Freud, that's all. Coming back to the point, these much of contributions are there from Sanskrit Shastras and philosophy. And there is a very interesting book named, Quantum Physics and Vedanta. This book is published by Sri Ramakrishna Mission. I don't know the author's name. And he says that Swami Vivekananda's entrance into USA made a very big impact. And several scientists had some contact with Swamiji, directly or indirectly. And by observing the Vedanta which he was talking in USA, even science had a transformation. That is how these great sciences like quantum physics, I may not say that's the only cause, definitely not, but Swamiji made a very big impact, no doubt. By that, these kinds of sciences gradually got developed. So anyhow, Vedanta is, most of the Vedantic texts are in Sanskrit. All the Sankhya texts are in Sanskrit, all the Nyaya, Vaiseshika texts are in Sanskrit. Therefore, to learn, to understand the philosophies of India, we need Sanskrit. The third one, culture. Mahatma preferred Hindi to be the national language in India. He gave a simple reason. Of course, that reason is logical. Most of the majority people in India talk in Khadiboli Hindi. Therefore, Hindi can, so minority also can learn that easily. Therefore, Hindi can be the national language. This is one logic. But more than this, Dr. Ambedkar, he preferred Sanskrit to be the national language of India, emphasizing that by knowing Sanskrit, we can know our roots. Okay. Understanding the roots is more important than minority adopting majority. That kind of idea he brought. So, Sanskrit we want not only just because it can it can enhance our cognition, it can be apt for artificial intelligence, not only because it contributes in science and philosophy, not only because it's a mother of all languages, it mainly because of its culture. Mother of all languages, not in the sense she gave birth to all languages. I don't know whether she gave birth to all languages or not, but nobody can reject that. Nobody can reject how all languages took several words from Sanskrit. In the context of India, almost all languages have probably, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40% words they use. I may be wrong, but a considerable group of words are taken from Sanskrit regarding Indian languages. And beyond this India, throughout the world, you can see Sanskrit words in many languages. That's a very interesting thing. Coming back to the point, culture for which we can learn Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a linking language of India. And when all other languages are named after some region, okay, Kannada is named after Karnataka, Kannadigas. Okay, you take any language, Marathi, Marathas, Bengali, Bengal, Assami, Assam, Hindi, Hindustan. Any language is named after a particular region. Therefore, these languages can be called as regional languages. Even in foreign land, English people, English. English is called as English because it is talked by English people. That's all. Germany's language, German. France language, French. Any language is rooted to its region. But Sanskritam has a name by which you can't trace its region. Which region Sanskrit belongs to. You can't trace it by seeing the epithet Sanskrit. Okay. What's the meaning of Sanskrit? It's nothing but cultured. Language which is cultured, language which is dignified, language which is courteous is Sanskrit. That's all. It's a very interesting thing. And our elders had this language, pan-Indian language, national language, and this national language was there throughout India, length and breadth of India, when India had several regional languages in several regions. When somebody wanted to write a poem, a literature, a novel, they wrote in regional languages. But when somebody wanted to contribute in science or philosophy, they preferred to write in Sanskrit. Because they had the plan that this book should reach the whole of the nation. A Keralite saint, Shankaracharya, wrote the treatise, the commentaries to Upanishads. And that was further elaborated by a Nepali named Vachaspati Mishra. Okay, how it's possible? It means even before the era of computers, WhatsApp, so on and so forth, India was heavily linked. Vachaspati Mishra was very much aware of, a Nepali Vachaspati Mishra was very much aware of a Keralite Shankaracharya. In between, thousands of kilometers are there. How it was possible? It was possible only through Sanskrit. If Shankaracharya would have written something in Malayalam, Vachaspati Mishra of Nepal would not have commented for that. It's not that Vachaspati Mishra did not like Malayalam. He did not know Malayalam, that's all. In length and breadth of this land, Sanskrit is still prevalent, please understand. Not only the time of Shankaracharya, definitely the time of Shankaracharya or Madhvacharya, it was more. But even now, Sanskrit is still prevalent and Sanskrit is inherent in all languages of India. And every temple Sanskrit has, Sanskrit dwells. In all these temples, Sanskrit mantras are chanted, Sanskrit slokas, and the rituals of the Hindus have Sanskrit, and any regional translation of Bible and the Quran, and all these you have several, many Sanskrit words. Bible, the word is translated in Tamil as Parishuddha Vedagamam. The whole word is Sanskrit, and the Karta is Sanskrit, Devan is Sanskrit, Dutan is Sanskrit, Punida Avi, Sanskrit. Punida is Sanskrit, Avi is Sanskrit. Avirbhava. Avi Sannihitam Guhacharam, Mundagopanishad. Okay. And that is how, when they translate Bible in regional languages, they prefer to use the Sanskrit words. Okay. This is called as inculturation. Leave it. We need not go into it. The same with Quran also. They choose lot of Sanskrit words to translate it. This is Idu Vedam. That is how it starts. When you see the Quran, Idu Vedam. That is how they start. They prefer to use the word Veda. Vedic people don't use the word Quran or Bible to refer their text. But Quran or Bible persons, they want to use the word Veda for their scriptures. Anyhow, culture. Samskriti means culture. Sanskritam means a cultured language. Okay. So that is how it is. And we all feel a Daiva Sanidhya while somebody is talking in Sanskrit. It is also there. This is noted by Sri Ramachandra while Hanuman is talking in Sanskrit. Avistaram asandigdam avilambitam adrutam urastam kantagam vakyam vartate madhyame sware samskara krama sampannam adrutam avilambitam ucharayati kalyanim vacham hridaya harinim. Hanuman is charming the heart by talking in Sanskrit in the very auspicious, using the very auspicious words. And his words are very cultured, very dignified. Rama appreciates the Sanskrit talk of Hanumanji. This we see. Of course, Sanskritam is not only dignified or cultured, it is also spiritual. When we chant Sanskrit shlokas, when we chant Sanskrit mantras, when we take Sanskrit mantra to our japa, naturally we enter into the internal silence and we can explore various yogic levels of our mind. Therefore, throughout take for example, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare is purely Sanskrit. Prabhupada took this to the Western world. And by chanting this in, he met many people there. When he was meeting hippies, okay, they were all drunkards and they were all not living a proper family life, that kind of people. They were drug addicted. Those kinds of people he met. And he had proven this mantra can change their life. He had proven that. Many people gave up their drug addiction by this mantra. This we could see. Sri Anna, normally just before this session we were talking about a group nearby Shivaliputur. Several other groups also. They were all once drug addicts and all. By propagating this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, by that they got ennobled and they gave up their addiction, they entered into the path of spirituality. This can be seen. This is the mantra power. And I strongly believe that mantra can be in any language, no problem. Hanuman Chalisa is a mantra. Skanda Shakti Kavacham is a mantra. I strongly believe it. But generally, Sanskritam has a very extraordinary power. The dictions of Sanskritam has a very extraordinary power to eliminate the unwanted and dirty adjuncts and make us to dwell in the purity of self. This is very important aspect of Sanskrit. And culture, I'm talking about culture. Okay. So for this culture, regarding culture, one more thing I wish to add. We are living in the culture of Ramayana up to our times. The Ramayana is the substance of our culture. Ramayana is the material cause of Indian culture. Here in India, any father wants to be like a Dasharatha, any mother wants to be like Kausalya. Knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, the people follow Rama in India. That is how it is made. So we follow the values of Rama, we follow the values of Sita. So if you want to understand that epic in a perfect sense, in its original sense, we need to learn Sanskrit. Once, a gentleman named Mr. Venkata Subramanian, Sri Venkata Subramanian, I think he's the president of Vyoma Labs, a very famous Sanskrit institution. He said to me, he requested Sringeri Acharya to guide him regarding this Samskrita Adhyapana, he asked Sringeri Acharya, Swamiji, up to what level common men can learn Samskrita? Immediately Sringeri Acharya responded, the level by going which one can understand Valmiki Ramayana, that any common man in India should reach. Because the purpose of learning Samskrita is to understand Ramayana. Okay, this is a very interesting thing. Very heart touching also. Because whether you want to know philosophy or not, whether you wish to attain the sciences in Sanskrit or not, the most important thing is dharma, culture, human values, for which you have a text, Ramayana, and that Ramayana is in Sanskrit. For that also we need to learn Sanskrit. And by the way, Ramayana is the best way to learn Sanskrit. And I am very happy that this Samskrita Karyashala had chosen the first chapter of Valmiki's Ramayana to learn Sanskrit. If you go through the Adikavi's Kavya, that is Valmiki's Ramayana, let me tell you about a miracle. I have seen several persons in my life, even without learning Sanskrit in a proper way, just by reading Ramayana for 20 to 25 times. Some people, in fact, in front of me, someone is sitting, as an example. By reading 20 to 25 times Valmiki's Ramayana, one starts to understand that Kavya. There's a miracle regarding that Valmiki Ramayana. He starts to understand the words of Valmiki. He may not know Sanskrit, he may not know Sanskrit grammar. Sri Ranganath Iyer, Sri Ramayana Mama. We call him as Ramayana. He wrote several Sanskrit shlokas, in fact, for your information. He did not have proper Sanskrita learning in his life. But every day he read Valmiki Ramayana. By that he gained Sanskrit knowledge. He wrote some Sanskrit shlokas, around some 100 shlokas. All these shlokas are in Anushtup, Valmiki's meter. Okay. He gained such a ability by just going through Ramayana, just by reading Ramayana. How it's possible? Even though I called it as miracle, it has a logic. In India, in almost all regional languages, in many of the words in the regional languages, have were used by Valmiki. It's very interesting. It's not that Valmiki took those regional languages and used in the epic. No. The Valmiki's words entered into the regional languages throughout India. Therefore, we are familiar with many words of Valmiki already when we go through the epic. When we read several times, somehow the words which we don't understand, the words which we understand, with that we fill the gap. The unknown words also come to our understanding. This is the secret behind, the logic behind that miracle. So, in this way, I perceive the best way to learn Sanskrit is reading Valmiki's Ramayana. Next thing. There are, in my perception, what I am seeing in society, in existing society, in current society, there are 3 methods to learn Sanskrit. One method, what we see in several colleges, there they have BA Sanskrit and MA Sanskrit. When I go through their syllabus, I have gone through several classes also in several places. Unfortunately, In several colleges, recently, in last 15 to 20 years, they adopt typically the method of European model. The way in which they learn Sanskrit, it is just an imitation of how we need to learn English. For English, that method is fantastic. If you go to BA English Literature and MA English Literature, the way in which they learn Milton, Shakespeare and all, the same method is adopted for Sanskrit also, unfortunately, in several colleges, in BA and MA Sanskrits. This is not the way which tradition adopted. This way is wrong, and it has its own. I'm not giving a sweeping statement. This way is wrong, but it has several fallacies. This has several errors. When it comes to the context of Sanskrit, just to be prescribing some syllabus, some portion of Kalidasa, some portion of Bhavabhuti, some portion of this and that, learning that just by learning the story found in Raghuvamsha, you can't learn Sanskrit in that way. That is how they do in English. Learning some stories from Shakespeare. One learns English. This cannot be possible in Sanskrit. This is one way. Another way, Samskrita Bharati's way. That also we can see. That is spoken Sanskrit. Nice way. Many people talk in Sanskrit when we see that after attending the Shibiram of Samskrita Bharati and also Sopanams of Samskrita Bharati, their conversation gets enriched. That is another way. And the third way, a traditional way, is Kavya Patha. Kavya Patha is a most important way, is a highly traditional. Earlier, our elders adopted that way only, and that's the best way to learn Sanskrit. Samskrita Sambhashanam can come even by going in the path of Kavya Patha sincerely for several years. Samskrita Sambhashanam can be a byproduct. But Kavya Patha method of learning is extremely important to understand our Shastras. It's not just talking in Sanskrit matters here. Sometimes we see, I have seen, there are some great scholars of Shakespeare and Milton, but they can't talk in English since they did not communicate much in English. Maybe in Tiruchirappalli or in Viluppuram, some people will be sitting and they might have completed their BA English Literature in some regional college where they talk in Tamil. Okay. And they may not converse in English, but they can be the scholars of Shakespeare and Milton. And without even going to this BA English Literature and MA English Literature, just be sitting in a city like Bangalore, one can develop English. Who can never touch Shakespeare or Milton? Okay. Spoken Sanskrit method is fine, wonderful. One can learn Sanskrit through that. But on the other hand, when you need to effortlessly read scripture and understand, there this Kavya Patha method will be very useful, and this is the method adopted by Sri Sridhar Ji in this Samskrita Karyashala, what we saw little before. Okay, Padacheda, Sandhi, and then Anvaya, and giving meaning is a wonderful method. So method is also wonderful, traditional, and the method is adapted to Valmiki's Ramayana. That is more wonderful. With this method, hope that we all will get benefited. The children who have come here for summer camp, they will definitely get benefited with this method, and we have seen the demonstration also. Some 2 or 3 students have submitted their, the seniors have submitted their thing now. What we saw regarding the Sundarakanda shloka of first chapter, Sankshepa Ramayana, Moola Ramayana. Moola Ramayana, Sundarakanda, we saw now 2 or 3 verses. So, we all are blessed that when we go through this kind of Kavya Pata of the first chapter of Valmiki Ramayana, then when we go through a few other chapters also in Valmiki, we can directly understand. We need not want translation for that. Translation may become erroneous several times. Sometimes with agenda also they make translations. That also we see. Therefore, better to revert, as Swami Vivekananda said. Swami Vivekananda brought a new dimension regarding Sanskrit, whether we have taken it seriously or not. He said something like, in last 1,000 years, many of the Samskrita concepts, philosophies and stories were brought into regional languages. It's very good. Job is done. Very nice. But now the time has come in which it should not only be read in the regional languages, but we need to further revert and we should learn Sanskrit and see those things in the original sense. That kind of the dimension should come to us. Then only the cycle will be complete, he said. And that kind of idea we need to think about. So, the objective is very nice regarding this Karyashala. Objective is, when we go through a scripture or a shastra, we can make Padacheda, Anvaya, and we can give the meaning. Can we develop that ability by which Sanskritam becomes purposeful? A great scholar, Sanskrit scholar named Swaminatha Atreya, long before I think some 25 years, he said, there are two things. Samskrita Laghukaranam, for which few great persons are working hard. But there is another thing which has to be done very much. Not Samskrita Laghukaranam, but Samskrita Laghavam. Okay. Therefore, let us try to do seva, do service in the path of Samskrita Laghavam. Okay. How effortlessly we can enter into the Draksha Paka of Maharshi Valmiki and understand the verses as they are. For this we can make our humble efforts, and we pray Sri Ramachandra to fulfill our efforts which have a noble cause, and may Sridharji's efforts and vision and mission grow gradually, and may the students get much benefited with this kind of Kavyapata style of learning Sanskrita. Dhanyavada.